When God is preparing to bless you, the first and most powerful sign you will feel is a deep spiritual restlessness that you cannot shake off. It's not anxiety, it's not fear, it's not confusion, it is a holy stirring, a divine awakening inside you that whispers, you were made for more than this. Suddenly, the life you once felt comfortable in starts to feel too small. The routine that used to satisfy you now leaves you feeling empty. The conversations you once enjoyed no longer feed your spirit. The places where you once settled start feeling like cages instead of comfort zones. And even though you may not understand it fully, something inside you begins pushing you toward a greater version of yourself. That inner shift is not random. It is God preparing your spirit before He shifts your reality. Whenever God elevates you, He enlarges you internally first. Your thinking, your desires, your mindset, your expectations. He stretches your spirit so that you can hold the weight of the blessing He is about to release. This restlessness may feel uncomfortable, but it is actually the signal that your old season is ending. Think about a bird inside an eggshell. Before it breaks out, the shell becomes too tight. The bird begins to push, struggle, stretch, and fight. It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is what leads to expansion. You are in that same process. God is pushing you out of places you no longer belong. He is breaking shells that cannot contain your future. He is letting you feel the tightness so you won't stay where you are. Discomfort becomes your compass, pointing you toward your next level. You begin to notice that you can no longer pretend to fit in environments that God has outgrown for you. People who once understood you no longer read your spirit. The dreams that once excited you are no longer big enough. The goals that once felt impossible now feel too small. Everything inside you begins to rise, like a flame being fanned by God Himself. You may start feeling a divine dissatisfaction, not because your life is broken, but because your spirit is expanding. You are outgrowing who you used to be. You are outgrowing habits, thought patterns, and relationships that cannot carry your future. God is enlarging your spiritual capacity, making room inside you for the abundance He is preparing to release. And this restlessness is His way of getting you ready, because blessings require space, miracles require capacity, elevation requires readiness. God will never give you a blessing that your character cannot protect, your mind cannot hold, or your spirit cannot manage. So before He changes your external world, He upgrades your internal world. You may feel like your life is shifting in ways you did not ask for, but trust the process. God is not breaking you, He is shaping you. He is not removing your comfort, He is removing your limits. He is not disturbing your peace, He is activating your potential. When you feel this inner pull toward more, it is heaven's announcement that something greater is coming. You're not imagining it, you're not overthinking, you're not unstable, you are transitioning. God is awakening the part of you that was designed to carry greatness. He is stirring dreams that were asleep. He is activating strength that you didn't know you had. He is lifting you out of your old identity and pulling you toward the promise He spoke over your life. This restlessness is the spiritual kickstart of your transformation. It means the door to your next level is starting to open. It means the blessing is closer than you think. It means God is shifting things in your favor, even if you cannot see them yet. And the enemy cannot stop it, because what God has begun inside, you cannot be undone. So don't fear the discomfort, embrace it. It is the sign that God is moving. It is the evidence that change is coming. It is the confirmation that you are stepping into a new chapter. God is preparing you for the blessing you prayed for, the opportunity you hoped for, the miracle you waited for. And the restlessness in your spirit is proof that your breakthrough is already on the way. When God is getting ready to bless you, one of the clearest signs you will encounter is the sudden removal or gradual distancing of people who cannot go where you're going. It may be confusing, even painful, when relationships shift, friendships fade, or certain voices in your life grow silent. But what feels like abandonment is often divine protection. What feels like loss is actually preparation. God is not taking people away to hurt you. He is clearing the path so your blessing won't be delayed, contaminated, or destroyed by the wrong influences. Before every elevation, there is separation. Before every breakthrough, there is cleansing. Before every promotion, God removes what can't sustain the weight of your next level. You may start noticing that people who used to support you suddenly become distant. Conversations that once flowed effortlessly feel forced. Individuals who once celebrated you now seem uninterested or even irritated by your growth. For a moment, you might question yourself, wondering if you did something wrong. But the truth is simpler. Your spirit is evolving, and their spirit is not aligned with your future. Not everyone who started with you is assigned to finish with you. Not everyone connected to your past is meant to walk into your destiny. Some people were only meant to be stepping stones, not lifetime companions. And the sooner you recognize this as God's strategic alignment rather than personal rejection, the faster you will step into what He has prepared. God will remove people for 3 reasons. They would have limited you, they would have misled you, or they would have mishandled what He is about to place in your hands. Some people are good, but they're not good for your purpose. Some connections are comfortable, but comfort can interfere with calling. Some relationships soothe your insecurities but suffocate your destiny. So God, in His wisdom, begins to disconnect you from anything that could corrupt, delay, or drain the blessing He's preparing to give you. And because He sees what you cannot, He knows who would betray you, who would envy you, who would exploit you, and who would stand in the way of your miracle. So He removes them before your blessing arrives, because He loves you too much to let the wrong people have access to the right future. Sometimes God's removal is gentle, a slow fading, a shift in priorities, a quiet drifting apart. Other times it is sudden, a breakup, a betrayal, a disagreement you didn't expect. You may not understand it at the time, but everything God removes, He removes with purpose. He is not pruning you to punish you, He is pruning you to position you. Just like a gardener cuts off branches that hinder growth, God cuts off connections that stunt your elevation. He knows that blessings require the right environment. He knows that destiny requires clarity. He knows that your future requires people who speak life, not doubt, faith, not fear, obedience, not compromise. And here's the powerful truth. When God removes someone, He always replaces them with something better, better aligned, better positioned, better suited for who you are becoming. But the blessing cannot come until the blockage is gone. Some people take up emotional, spiritual, and mental space that God intends to fill with peace, purpose, and divine favor. So He clears the space because He is about to overflow it with something greater. The separation you feel is not random, it's spiritual. The people leaving your life are not departing because of rejection. They are departing because of elevation. Your circle is shrinking because your assignment is expanding. The crowd is thinning because your anointing is thickening. Do not fight to keep what God is releasing. Do not chase after what God has dismissed. Do not cling to what God has already cut. Trust that every removal is making room for an upgrade. Trust that God is protecting your destiny from unseen danger. Trust that He is aligning you for divine connections. People who will celebrate your calling, not compete with it. People who will elevate your spirit, not drain it. People who will walk with you, pray with you, and stand with you as God unfolds the next chapter of your life. You are not losing people. You are losing limitations. You are not being abandoned. You are being prepared. And the people exiting your life are a clear sign that the blessing you've been waiting for is closer than ever. When God is getting ready to bless you, He will often increase your spiritual sensitivity so you can recognize what you could not see before. This is not a random feeling, not a passing mood, not your imagination. It is divine discernment rising inside you. Suddenly, your spirit becomes more alert. You begin to sense things that your natural eyes can't detect. People's intentions become clearer. Hidden motives feel exposed. You start picking up on energy, behavior, and attitudes that you used to ignore. This heightened awareness is not paranoia. It is preparation. God sharpens your discernment because what He is about to give you requires greater wisdom, stronger boundaries, and deeper clarity. You may find yourself uncomfortable in places that once felt normal. Conversations that you used to enjoy may suddenly feel heavy or draining. Certain habits, environments, or relationships that once satisfied you now feel misaligned with who you are becoming. That is spiritual growth. That is God awakening your inner radar. He is tuning your heart to His frequency so you can walk wisely and protect the blessing He is sending. When God is elevating you, He cannot allow you to move blindly. He cannot allow you to walk without awareness. So He gives you spiritual insight warnings, nudges, inner checks, sudden shifts in emotion that guide your steps and guard your destiny. This increased sensitivity often shows up in small ways first. You may sense when someone's words don't match their spirit. You may feel uneasy when you're in the presence of someone who doesn't genuinely care for you. You might feel drained after being around certain people, or you may feel peace when you step into the presence of those who are aligned with your purpose. All of this is God training your discernment. He is teaching you to listen beyond the surface. He is teaching you to identify the difference between genuine heart connections and disguised distractions. He is teaching you to trust what you feel, because the Holy Spirit often speaks through feelings before facts. And as this spiritual sensitivity grows, you will notice an inner pull toward quiet, toward prayer, toward reflection. God will draw you closer to Himself, not because He wants you to escape the world, but because He wants you to see it more clearly. You may lose interest in drama, gossip, meaningless conversations, or relationships built on convenience rather than purpose. Your soul begins to crave purity, peace, and truth. That craving is not accidental. It is God preparing your environment and your heart for the blessing you have been praying for. Elevation requires separation, but it also requires revelation. You must see clearly to move confidently. You must recognize danger before you step into it. You must discern character before you trust it. This new awareness may cause you to set boundaries you never had before. You may start protecting your energy more fiercely. You may stop allowing people easy access to your emotions, your time, or your spirit. And some people may not understand this shift. They may say you've changed, and they're right. You have. God is preparing you for a new level of favor, and new levels require new levels of discernment. Not everyone can handle the calling on your life. Not everyone deserves a seat at the table God is preparing for you. Discernment empowers you to choose wisely instead of emotionally, to recognize purpose, build connections instead of counterfeit ones. And here's the beautiful truth. The stronger your discernment becomes, the easier it is to recognize God's voice, God's direction, and God's timing. You begin to trust your spirit more than your circumstances. You begin to see obstacles as opportunities. You begin to recognize distractions instantly. This spiritual clarity unlocks confidence, peace, and direction. It protects your future and positions you for divine blessings. God sharpens your discernment because He is leading you somewhere greater, somewhere your old perspective could not take you, somewhere your old vision could not see. When discernment increases, breakthrough is close. When your spirit becomes sensitive, blessings become visible. This isn't coincidence. This is preparation for the blessing God has already released in your direction. When God is about to bless you, He will often allow isolation to enter your life, not to punish you, but to prepare you. This isolation is not loneliness, it is divine separation. It is God pulling you away from noise, from distractions, from people who cannot go where He is taking you. You may notice that the phone stops ringing, people become distant, friendships fade, and circles shrink. At first, this can feel confusing or painful, but in reality, it is God clearing the space around you so you can hear Him clearly. When God gets ready to elevate you, He does not want your destiny influenced, polluted, or delayed by voices that do not align with His plan. So He isolates you, not to break you, but to rebuild you. In this season, God fortifies your identity. He strips away anything and anyone that once defined you so He can redefine you. You begin to learn who you truly are without the opinions, expectations, and pressures of others. You learn what brings you peace, what drains your spirit, what fuels your purpose, and what distracts your growth. Isolation reveals the strength you never recognized, the resilience you never celebrated, and the wisdom that was buried under the weight of daily distractions. It's in the quiet moments, the silent nights, and the seasons of emotional distance that God begins to whisper His plans into your soul. He gives direction that you could not have heard in crowded rooms or busy environments. He gives clarity that would have been drowned out by noise. In isolation, God speaks. And when God speaks, destinies shift. But this divine separation is not only about clarity, it is also about protection. God sees conversations you don't hear, intentions you don't feel, and plans against you that you don't know about. When He pulls people away from you, He may be shielding you from betrayal, jealousy, competition, or manipulation. Sometimes the people you miss were actually mountains standing between you and your blessings. Sometimes the relationships you wanted to keep were the very chains holding you back. God removes what you think you need so He can give you what He knows you need. The subtraction is not punishment, it is preparation, and in this season of isolation you grow in ways you never imagined. You learn to depend on God more deeply than ever before. You stop looking for validation from people and begin seeking it from God. You stop chasing love, attention, or approval and instead nurture your relationship with the one who never abandons you. Isolation becomes a spiritual classroom where God teaches you patience, peace, strength, discipline, and faith. He molds your character for the blessing ahead. He stretches your endurance so you can handle the weight of the promises He is preparing to release. Many people want elevation, but not everyone is willing to undergo the isolation required for it. While this process feels uncomfortable, it is also deeply sacred. God does not isolate you because you are weak. He isolates you because you are chosen. He isolates you because He is about to trust you with more influence, more responsibility, more opportunity, more abundance. And greater blessings require deeper roots. You cannot rise high if you are still tied to people who keep you low. You cannot step into your calling while surrounded by those who do not believe in it. You cannot embrace your future while entangled with your past. So God separates you to free you. As this season unfolds, something shifts inside you. You begin valuing peace more than popularity. You begin choosing purpose over comfort. You begin embracing solitude because you recognize that God is present in it. The quiet moments become holy moments, the stillness becomes strength, and the isolation becomes proof that you are on the edge of a breakthrough. God isolates before He elevates. He disconnects before He delivers. He separates before He blesses. Your isolation is not the end, it is the beginning of something greater. God is preparing you privately for what He will reveal publicly. Your blessing is closer than you think, and this isolation is the sign that you are almost there. When God is about to bless you, He will allow unexpected opportunities to appear in places you never imagined. These opportunities may start small, subtle, and almost unnoticeable, yet they carry the potential to transform your life in ways that exceed your prayers. God rarely sends your blessing wrapped in something glamorous or obvious. Instead, He brings it through ordinary moments that test your faith, your discernment, and your willingness to step outside your comfort zone. Suddenly, doors you didn't even knock on begin to open. Conversations you didn't plan begin to align. People you never expected begin to support you. Situations that once seemed impossible begin shifting in your favor. These are not coincidences, these are divine alignments orchestrated by God Himself. Sometimes these opportunities look like problems at first. They may come disguised as challenges that push you to grow, stretch, and rise. God often hides breakthrough inside responsibility. He hides blessings inside assignment. He hides destiny inside discomfort. That's why you must not overlook the things that stretch you or scare you. The opportunity God sends you may require courage to walk into, faith to sustain, and discipline to handle. What looks like a burden may actually be the bridge to your next level. What appears small may be the seed of something extraordinary. The job offer that seems insignificant may be the doorway to long-term blessings. The connection that seems random may be the key to a future breakthrough. God uses the unexpected to make sure only those who trust Him fully will recognize the blessing when it arrives. These unexpected opportunities are God's way of reminding you that He is still working behind the scenes. Even when you feel forgotten, God is arranging the right people, the right timing, and the right circumstances to elevate you. You may not see the full picture yet, but you will see confirmations, little signs that God is moving. A sudden idea that sparks hope, a moment of favor that seems unusual, a chance to do something you've never done before. These are God's fingerprints, showing you that what is coming is greater than what has been. When God begins releasing unexpected opportunities, it's a sign that your season is turning. He is preparing you to receive what you once thought was out of reach. And with every new opportunity, God also checks your readiness. He wants to see if you will move in faith or hesitate in fear. Many people pray for a blessing but walk away when it arrives because it requires them to think bigger, act boldly, or trust God more deeply. Do not let fear talk you out of what God is trying to give you. Do not let self-doubt convince you that you are unqualified. Every opportunity God sends is already aligned with your purpose. If He gave it, you are ready for it. Your job is not to question the path, your job is to walk it. Your job is not to understand every detail. Your job is to trust the one who does. As you embrace these doors God opens, something inside you begins to shift. You start to recognize that His timing is perfect. You understand that His preparation was necessary. You begin to see that the delays were not denials, they were training. You realize that everything He withheld was protection, and everything He releases now is purpose. These unexpected opportunities become the proof that your waiting was not wasted. They reveal that God has been planning your breakthrough long before you sensed it. They confirm that His hand is on your life, guiding you into greater levels of favor and abundance. So when you see unexpected doors opening, do not shrink. Walk boldly. Step forward in confidence. God is not teasing you. He is leading you. He is not confusing you. He is positioning you. He is not giving you random chances. He is unfolding divine appointments. Every opportunity sent by God carries the power to change your life, elevate your spirit, and deepen your faith. This is the moment you have been preparing for. This is the sign you've been praying about. When God begins releasing unexpected opportunities, it means your blessing is closer than ever, and your breakthrough is already on its way. When God is about to bless you, He begins to increase the spiritual sensitivity of your heart. You start feeling things more deeply, discerning things more clearly, and noticing things you used to overlook. Your spirit becomes alert, almost as if something inside you knows that a major shift is coming. You can't always explain it to others, but you feel it, you sense it. You know that God is preparing you for something greater. This internal shift is not random. It is divine preparation. God sharpens your inner awareness so you can recognize the blessing when it appears. He quiets the noise inside your soul, helping you hear His voice more clearly than ever before. He removes distractions, closes unnecessary doors, and reduces your dependence on people so that you depend more on Him. Your spirit becomes more aligned, more focused, and more expectant. This sensitivity is God's way of tuning your heart to the frequency of His next move. As this spiritual awareness grows, you begin to see life differently. What once frustrated you now becomes a lesson. What once discouraged you now becomes a sign of growth. You start understanding that every challenge was shaping you, every setback was redirecting you, and every delay was God's protection. You feel yourself becoming wiser, stronger, and more grounded. You detect energy, intentions, and motives that you used to ignore. People who no longer align with your purpose become easier to release. Situations that once drained you no longer hold your attention. God is refining your discernment so you can separate what is temporary from what is divine, what is distraction from what is destiny, what is noise from what is truth. When God sharpens your spirit like this, it means He is making room for a blessing too big to carry with the old version of yourself. This heightened awareness also brings a sense of peace that doesn't match your circumstances. Even if you're facing uncertainty, battles, or unanswered questions, you feel a supernatural calm rising within you. This peace is not coming from your environment, it's coming from God. It's His confirmation that He is in control, that His promise is still alive, and that the blessing is already on its way. You begin to trust Him more deeply, not because everything makes sense, but because you can feel His presence guiding you. You start to walk differently, think differently, and speak differently. Your prayers shift from desperation to confidence. Your mindset shifts from fear to expectation. You no longer wonder if God will bless you. You know He will. This is the spiritual maturity God gives you before He elevates you. And this sensitivity doesn't just prepare you for blessings. It protects you from wrong decisions. When your spirit becomes sharper, you can sense when something is not right. You feel a tug in your heart when you're about to step into something God didn't approve. You sense heaviness when you're around people who don't belong in your next chapter. You sense hesitation when the path isn't aligned with God's will. These are not coincidences, they are divine warnings. God strengthens your spiritual intuition so you can stay on the path that leads to your blessing, not the one that leads to regret. He gives you clarity to say no to things that look good, but aren't good for you. He helps you avoid counterfeit opportunities that would delay your destiny. He gives you wisdom that surpasses experience and discernment that surpasses knowledge. As you grow spiritually sensitive, you also become more grateful, more humble, and more aware of God's goodness. You start recognizing blessings you used to take for granted. You begin appreciating the little confirmations God sends your way. You see His hand in the timing of events, the words people speak, the doors that open, and even the ones that close. This gratitude unlocks even more blessings. When your heart is aligned with God, He can trust you with greater responsibility, greater influence, and greater favor. You become a vessel He can use, a light He can shine through, and a person He can elevate without losing them to pride or fear. So when your spirit feels heightened, when you feel more aware, more connected, more sensitive, know that this is not ordinary. This is God preparing you for a blessing that is spiritually significant, emotionally uplifting, and physically transformational. This inner shift is proof that God is not just changing your situation. He is changing you so you can step boldly, wisely, and powerfully into the blessing He has prepared. The more spiritually awake you become, the closer you are to your breakthrough. Your blessing is not just coming, it is already forming, and God is aligning your heart so you will be ready to receive it fully, courageously, and gratefully.